Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. Today with your bonus weekly replay video. This time we have the Yamato, the Tier 10 Japanese battleship for your viewing pleasure. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my style of replays, I simply sit down and watch replay while commentating on it live. So it's like you and I are sitting down and watching a replay for the first time together. You guys get my genuine reaction to whatever it is that happens in the game, and it's more entertaining all around. Now, I do generally have an idea of what happens in the match, right, but I don't know exactly how it happens. And this one is going to be most certainly entertaining, I can say, judging by the in-screen images that I was sent. So, the Yami, the Tier 10 Japanese battleship. She's armed with 9 18.1-inch guns, with, of course, the ability to overmatch 32 millimeters of armor, which is the common threshold here at Tier 10. So that means the Yami doesn't really care about armor, like this Vermont, for example. She's plated in 32 millimeters of armor. So the 18-inch shells, they don't even care about the ricochet angles or anything. They just go straight through that and will penetrate the Vermont's armor. Unless, of course, he hits the belt, and then there you go. 12k off the Vermont right off the bat. So that's one of the main, of course, draw points of the Yamato. She is essentially basically a super dreadnought, if you will. Oh, he's got the Parzival already? Oh, man, Parzival, buddy, you're about to have a very bad day. She's essentially a super dreadnought, right? So, I believe a phrase that's been said about the Yami in real life is that, it was the perfect battleship for the wrong war. If this was like World War One, it would have been an excellent battleship there. But World War II was not so much about big gun battleships, more about, of course, naval aviation and such. And he's got a really interesting build. I don't know what his build is, but all these commander talent notifications that are popping up, commander skill notifications that are popping up, are not normally what you see on a battleship. But anyway, this is Wright driving our Yami today. I'm just going to call him Wright from now on, alright? And looks like he is pushing up the middle here on mountain range, and some Parzival planes are above him. Gets a little bit of his health there. That is a very broadside room there. Looks like Wright aimed a little bit high, but with the 18-inch shells and the fact that it's a room, so German cruiser. With German cruiser armor, it may not matter too much. And, oh, yeah, it did. There you go. 5 overpins for a mere 7,400 damage. With the German cruiser armor, typically with the Yami, you just gotta hit them in the right spot and you'll remove usually like 2/3 of their HP. I know, because the Yami is my most played ship. I know, surprised, it's not the GK. Surprises myself with that too. I played a whole lot of Yami in random battles, a whole hell of a lot of Yami in competitive, but more so, in previous years than more recent years. Broadside GK, 19 kilometers away, gets another 78,000 damage. Also 7,800 damage off of the GK. 78,000 damage off of GK one salvo would be really impressive. Looks like the room is sending some HE towards right. Ooh, there's the Parzival again. He's going to give a little bit more lead than that. I don't know. He might tag him there in the stern with those shells. Most CVs are pretty slow to get up to speed. Once they get up to speed, they're pretty quick. Parzival is turning in. And did the shells miss or did they hit? Looks like they missed. He's not really following up on his shots here. Probably because he knows he can't really do a follow-up shot on the Parzival anyway, because he was moving to a place where, of course, he would be behind the mountain for right. But he is now looking out west. He's in a pretty good spot here, because he can view out west to see, these ships that would normally be popping up, in between these islands here to the west. He can also see what's in front of him and to the east with the islands over there as well. If it wasn't for the Z-23 HE spamming him, he would be in a really good position right here. But the Montana is pushing up, so he won't be the only subject of that Z-23's attention for too much longer. Wisconsin is about to eat a bunch of sap from Venezia. Cleaves a little bit of that, little bit of HP off of him. Parzival does get a salvo off. It should get there before the Wisconsin gets behind the islands. Looking pretty decent. Looks like I'm going to tag his stern-ish, but with the 18-inch guns, it should be... Ooh. So it should be alright, but only one shell does connect and pin with one bouncing. It's up to 52,000 damage already by the 5-minute mark. Not a bad clip so far for Wright. Things are looking pretty stagnant. Not too many ships are pushing up. The Bilal is pushing up in the west, and the La Venturi is pushing up in the east, but most of the heavier units are kind of sitting and just waiting around. So pretty passive gameplay for Arms Race. Typically Arms Race players are a little bit more enthusiastic because, of course, you can grab the buffs. It looks like the friendly team has done a pretty good job of that. They have a heal buff, a reload buff, and a damage buff. And the enemy team has well, now they have one buff. They have 1 HP buff now. So, I mean, yeah, let's see. The enemy team's doing all right. I'm sorry, the friendly team's doing all right so far, with the exception of the fact that they are down a destroyer. However, they are picking up more of these buffs, and as time goes on, these buffs are going to help out the team by quite a lot, especially the heal buff. You know, the heal buff is one of the most important buffs in this mode, and the team that has the heal buff, or, you know, more of the heal buff than the other team, typically wins. I mean, that's just math, right? If your ships are constantly being healed during the entire match, that's just more HP. I say that as 2 friendly ships go down, the Lauria and the Adventurer. I think that's what that's supposed to be, you know, in French. So that's not great. So this is, you know, quite the opposite of what we usually see happen here in Arms Race. Oh, and the Bilal goes down too. Dang. All right. And the enemy team, they're starting to grab buffs themselves too. They now have a healing buff and the HP buff. GK manages to dodge a salvo of 18.1-inch shells there. So yeah, and we are 1 minute and 12 seconds away from the center point opening up. So 7 minutes in, no red ships have been sunk. That is not a good sign, fellas. Looks like the points are flipped, because the red teams should certainly be in the lead with, you know, 4 enemy ships down versus no ships down, right? So the points are unfortunately flipped. That's the new replay bug. Oh, right, just got Citadel there by that GK, but he didn't get the Citadel sound effect. Booster and in Wisconsin. Wisconsin players are either really, really good or they really like selling in straight lines. There's not a whole lot of in-between when it comes to the Wisconsin. That should be a decent hit there if you manage to predict that turn correctly. But looks like the Wisconsin has changed his mind. Yep. Yeah. So he aimed as if the Wisconsin was going to keep turning. Oh, he kind of went back on it. Like the Wisconsin was going to keep turning into the islands. The Wisconsin looks like he's just wiggling his rudder back and forth. So unfortunately, no hits for right there. And let's see. So the Rune, the Azuma, the Hayate, and something else that I can't read because the Azuma's name is on top of it, are pushing down from the east with only a breast. Oh, 2 breasts. Oh, there's a pair of breasts down there. What a fine pair of breasts down in the southeast to do something about that. But Wright is also, well, right here as well, and as those ships get spotted, he can take pot shots at them. Oh, it's another Yami that was spotted out in the east. Reload buff has been secured. Full reload buff is now secured for the friendly team. That's going to give him a nice buff to his reload. Let's see what his reload is when he fires here on this GK. 19-second reload with the Yami. That's what's up. That's like Yamamoto skill pop right there. Does he have Yamamoto? Does not look like he has Yamamoto on, but if he would get a Kraken with Yamamoto and a full reload buff, man, that would be you know, actual heavy cruiser Yami at that point. Speaking of Yami, there's another one that's popped up out there at 19 kilometers. But this is Azuma from 16 kilometers. It's a much tastier target. So finally, by the 9-minute mark, the friendly team has managed to sink a single enemy ship. There's that rune from earlier. Aim a little bit lower. So you see how his, you know, as you aim at the ship, the enemy ship is moving, and you can see your crosshair start to drift up or drift down. You have to compensate for that when you're firing. It's so easy just to, oh, there we go. 18k to the room. But yeah, you have to watch that and see, you know, where's your crosshair drifting, or where's the ship moving, whatever you want to call it, right? Because you need to take that into account when you're aiming, not just, you know, point and click and just, you know, fire and forget. Should be a dead Azuma here. There we go. 27k to the Azuma. Now, obviously the Azuma, you know, massive Citadel. So if you got big guns, just kind of point them in the general direction of an Azuma. They do tend to explode. Hayate Torps here. Thankfully the Yami is well armored for torpedoes. 10k there. Looks like another 10k there around the torpedo belt. But it did cause some flooding, and I think it knocked out the engine as well. So he uses damage con to deal with that. One hit, one pin, one overpin on the Yami side. All right, Wisconsin's down now in the west. Okay, so things are starting to pick up. But this other Yami though, who's also equipped with the high school fleet Yami camo, selling broadside to right here, 16K, and right is nose in. Most of those shells hit the deck, just for some overpins apparently. So that guy was aiming a little bit too high. Generally, when you're aiming bow onto an enemy ship, if you want to hit the superstructures, you kind of aim at like the front turret, and by the time the ship moves, by the time your shells get there, as you can see there, you hit the superstructure. If you want to hit the bow, you got to aim a little bit in front of the bow, and of course, depending upon how fast the ship is, that is going to determine your lead and such, right? So yeah, see how he's aiming at that front turret? These shells should go into the superstructure, but he's looking away. And looks like some of them did, but I think and he is of course much closer now too. So you probably should aim at like the second turret if you wanted to hit to the superstructure. Although he could just punch through, but absolutely go for the cheeks here, my guy. Go for Yami's cheeks. So he's trying to get the shells that land just behind that front turret. There you go, 34K to the Yami. You never want to show anybody your cheeks. The angling like this is not a good idea in the Yami because it exposes that weird Citadel wall that you can pin, because the shape of Yami Citadel is this weird octagon, right? And because of that, you can very easily pin the Yami from the bow and get big damage via Citadel hits. This guy is completely ignoring right. Maybe because he thinks he's going to get the drive-by off on him. It looks like the Yami is going to go down. Is that one of his secondary fires on there? It was. They're very good. Oh my god, he's at 233,000 damage. Whoa, boy. Well, I mean, I guess when you do have another Yami as your punching bag, that does tend to happen. So he's got 3 kills already, fellas, and he's already 233,000 damage. That's already a very, very good game at tier 10. But there's still more time on the clock and more enemy ships to sink. Enemy team is capping the A point. There's a Vermont out there who's briefly spotted. U2501 sinks the friendly Mecklenburg. There's the Ismo. Almost full health Ismo. That's not a good thing. Friendly CV is still up. What is their CV? What is their CV? Chicago. Okay, that's actually a good CV to have. That's one of the best tier 8 CVs in the game. I'd say guy his front turret's out on the Ismo. Vermont for 27Ks is about to destroy one of the breasts. Are there any breasts left? Nope, there's no breasts left. I am a sad man. Alright, so overpin on the Ismo. Okay, so he has a Vermont, an Ismo, a Worcester, a 2501, a Parzival, and what's their DD is left alive? A Z23 and a Hayate to deal with. All he has to do is sink all of them, or at least his Venezia has to help him out with that. His Venezia is in a div with him, so he is a div mate. I'm assuming they're probably on comms. So let's see what type of magic these two can work out here in the end. So front turret's out on the Vermont, and the Vermont is turning, so they're just going to splash. Yeah. Alright, Isabel. Oh man, was that Z23? Yeah, Z23 is at full HP, although not for long. Venezia looks like he got most of his guns out on that Z23. Not sure what state that Z23 is in after that, but it can't be too good. So the good thing, though, is that the Vermont and the Ismo, they cannot overmatch the Yami's bow armor. So, if Wright stays very steeply angled into him from a bow arm perspective, he can sit here, he can bounce their shells against his bow armor all day. Obviously, they can hit his superstructure and pin him like that, but I mean, look at that. A couple of shells overmatch the Vermont's armor, 13k damage there. Now let's do it again. The Vermont's absolutely coated in 32, so it's just such a juicy target for the Yamato. Venezia's also getting in on the action, and someone grabbed another healing buff. I'm assuming it's the Venezia. Nice 14k hit there on the Vermont. So now the friendly team is at a full healing buff and a full reload buff, and they have 203 damage buffs. There should be a dead Vermont here. Okay, so then that leaves the Ismo and the Worcester. And boink, there we go. Dead Vermont. Cool. Now the Ismo's coming out from 13 kilometers away. Ooh, is the Venezia going to live? The Venezia is going to live. Good. More friends, the better. So is the Ismo going to just come on out, broadside on to right Yami? It's like he's trying to stop, but he might just drift. Oh, is he trying to stop? It looks like he was trying to slow down. Doesn't look like the Ismo is moving at top speed. And, ooh, 6 pins, but no Citadels. Brings him up to 294,000 damage. Uh-oh, Ismo. Where are these players when I'm having a great match like this? Ismo's trying to go into reverse, but it's too late, buddy. You have been caught broadside by Yamato, which means, well, of course, naturally, you don't get Citadel. Okay, so RNG just giveth and taketh away. There's the Hayate Torps. So Wright's got to make a decision here. Does he eat the Torps? Does he show broadside to the Izumo? He is choosing to eat the Torps. Oh, he only winds up eating one. Oh, he has Fearless Brawler on? Or Furious, whatever that talent is. 15k to the Izumo. Still no Citadel. So I didn't catch that beforehand. So when oh my god. So when Wright's on fire, he gets another 10% buff to his reload time for the first fire. And then a 5% reload buff for the subsequent fires, which means he does have like heavy cruiser reload time on the Yami. And there you go, 15k Kraken Unleashed, 342,000 damage done, fellas. All right. So, man, Z23 is in the cap with the Venezia, and soon to be, well, he's turning to engage the booster. I was going to say soon to be right. But, I mean, yeah, the booster is going after the friendly CV, and I mean, when you're this slow on ships, every ship counts. The CV counts for that much more. Alright, so he has was that a 16-second reload now? Okay, double fire now. Okay, back to one fire. Yeah, he's a 16-second reload. That is insane. Parzival whiffs his shots there. He gets one pin on the Wusta for 5,800 damage. Kaga just ate a huge flak burst right there. So he lost a good chunk of his squadron. So he lost actually all of his planes now. Dang. I mean, that Wooster's probably, pounding his DFAA when he's got it up. All right, so he's still being spotted here. So we know that the Hayate and the Z23 are somewhere, right? We know the Z23 is in the cap. The Hayate is probably trying to get Torps off on right now. So he needs to be very much aware of that. Venezia is going hunting for a Z23. Now, the good thing is, of course, with the sap shells that the Venezia has, once he catches him, the Z23 is essentially dead, This is Wright's last here. Oh, the Parzival torpedoes, our friend in the Venezia. Maganator Marksman. All right. Oh, there's the Wusta. Oh, a little bit low. A little bit lower with the aim there, buddy. Fortunately, he's going to get that island between himself and Wright before he can get the shot off. That's big unfortunate. Dang. So this is a most unfortunate situation because, well, now even if Wright does sink this Wooster, he has to turn around and go back up north for the B cap because the Z23 is still capping. And once that cap is taken, the income you get in terms of points from that cap is kind of insane. So it's pretty much game over once that cap is taken unless you can get back in it. Up, come on. Is someone typing in chat? I think someone's typing in chat because there's a broadside booster. There he is. There he is. All right. So Wooster's turning out. Number of consumable charges increased. Wait, does he have Yamamoto? No, he doesn't have Yamamoto on because it would have popped already. Okay. So there's shoulder to shoulder. Okay, come on. Get this Wooster. Broadside Wooster, 17 kilometers away. If you can get the shells to land a little bit shorter, right in the citadel, there should be a dead Wooster. God, overpin again. That is unbelievably annoying. What's this Kaga going to do? I guess he's just going to die to the Wooster, huh? Maybe the Wooster would be a little bit too tunnel vision, come around the corner of the island and get blapped by Wright here. All right, so let's see what happens here. I mean, because the Wooster does not have torpedoes, Oh, 4501. Don't waste your guns on that. Shoot the Wooster. Oh, no! Okay, so, well, I mean, that's a dead U-2501 right there, right? Okay, then you have the depth charge on top of that. Okay, with this reload, he might be able to grab the Wooster here before he goes undetected. Can he blind fire? I mean, you should spot him when he comes around this corner. Okay, there goes the 2501. And the Wooster should be appearing here any second, ladies and gentlemen. There's some more love from the Parzival. Oh, he spots the Hayate of all ships finally here at the end. Alright, pops his damage con there on that single fire. Now the Hayate wants a piece of him. Don't fall for the bait. That Wooster has to be... I mean, he's going to get cocky here in the last few seconds of the game. He might be able to get his shells on target before he does go down. Alright, come on, come on. At this point, just blind fire the sucker. Oh, there he is, there he is, there he is! A little bit too high. Okay, let's see what happens, though. We still have time, we still have time. And there we go. Last minute Citadel in kill for, how many kills is that? 7 kills, 396,736 damage. Almost 400. We can round up to 400,000 damage. So the man got high caliber, coordinated attack, Kraken Unleashed, Dreadnought, Shoulder to Shoulder, Devastating Strike, Strike Team, Confederate, and General Offensive, and yet again 7 kills. He had 2,600 base XP on a loss. He almost had more XP than their the number 1 guy on the enemy team with 2,900 base XP. Man, it truly breaks your heart to see someone perform this well, but yet get, you know, a game like this. But man, right, that was a real interesting little match there you had, my guy. Unfortunately, it didn't end too well, but I mean, you still made plenty of credits off of that match. So at least you got that. 396,000 damage. This is his personal best game, by the way, and it definitely earned it for sure. But yeah, it seems to be that, you know, when you get those matches where you go like full main character, it's always the matches where you lose, ain't it, fellas? That just be how it be sometimes, huh? So guys, if you have a replay that's entertaining or, you know, excellent like this, feel free to send it into the email linked in the description down below. You can also submit it via the replay channel in the community Discord, which a link to that is in the description down below as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.